That's all right. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you all for coming to share in this time together. I love the fact that there's no such thing as coincidences, and just, you know, from the gratitude sharing, you'll hear that I talk about being a mother to feathered and winged friends for our friend who shared her parakeets, and then Truth's beautiful healing. I talk about the fact that there's all types of mothers in this world. One of the things about being a spiritualist, and it always has me searching, is, you know, what does it really mean? What does it truly mean to say that you believe in spiritualism as a science, philosophy, and religion? And then what does it mean to say that you're a spiritualist? And, you know, it's a lifestyle. We hear this over and over, and you'll continue to hear it over and over again. So how do we live as spiritualists? So today we're going to look at, of course, we're going to talk about mothers first, you know, because there really are all types of mothers in this world. Let's call it a fact. I think it's scientifically proven that we are all here together because we have one, regardless of our connection to them or how often we see them. We have a mother. And we don't only have just a mother who birthed us, but there's many, many different types of mothers in the world. A few examples would be, you know, mothers of children, not only here in the physical, but we also have a lot of children in the spiritual. Children who might not have made it to the earth plane due to unforeseen circumstances, but we all are mothers of some type. We have mothers of four-legged furry animals, feathered and winged friends, and God bless those mother of scaly amphibian creatures. Women who we may consider role models, we put into a motherly role, a mother-in-law, an ex-mother-in-law. We say that our earthly energy here, that our world is ran and cared for by Mother Nature. Every animal has a mother. Every flower has a perspective of a mother. Some people might have women who have stepped into their lives to become stepmothers. Some might be considered a mother who started and continued on their life journey to foster a movement or an idea, such as Mother Ann Lee. She started the Shaker movement in religion. Modern spiritualism claims its own mother. She was Amy Post. She birthed children, yes, and was a mother, but we considered her a mother because she brought in to her home our great Fox sisters, and she took into her heart, the soul and ideas of what spirit communication would bring to the world. She was also a person of the women's suffrage movement, the stopping of slavery. She brought all of these movements into her home, so we can consider her the mother of modern spiritualism. The word mother, when we hear it and talk about it, and sometimes look it up in the dictionary, brings a sense or a reputation or a representation of those who nurture our minds, our bodies, and our spirit. So today in America, we celebrate Mother's Day. First, we give gratitude and we thank our mothers for the lessons that they have taught us, the things that they've inspired within us, the love that they have shown for us. For it is today that we recognize this. But what about tomorrow? Do we only celebrate them today and going forward on our life until next May when we celebrate them again? Or can we honor them in a way every day? It is in our deeds and actions that we express who we are. So I ask you, could you use more love? Could you use more compassion? And can you use more nurturing in your life? Can you help those around you? Can you give yourself love and nurturing that you need? I will venture to say that most of us who are on a spiritual journey are freely willing to give our love, compassion, and nurturing away. But we also have to give it to ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves for us to have the best experience that we know how on this earthly journey. So how do we do that? That's always the big question I'm continually asking constantly in my mind is how? Well, we can take a look at our principles and the tenets of spiritualism to get some ideas on how to start. Look at our first principle, the infinite intelligence, the grand source of all, an unmeasurable amount of love and energy that we really truly cannot understand the magnitude of, but we feel within our souls and we know within our mind that it exists. That each and every one of us, regardless of our love for each other, or maybe not so much love for each other, are an expression of this great infinite intelligence. It's represented that each and every one of us are represented in a material form, not just only on this screen here where we see each other in little boxes, but you realize that there's hundreds of thousands of people who are an expression of this infinite. Animals within an expression of this infinite, our families, our friends, our coworkers, our neighbors, and even the strangers that are around your block as you sit in your chair this moment. They are all that expression of that great infinite intelligence, connected to and not separate from those who also moved on to the next expression of life, those in the spirit world. They are also a part of this grand infinite intelligence. The nature that surrounds us where we live, but not only where we live, the entire world is a divine expression. Every blade of grass, every mountain, cloud, tree, flower, animal, all a part of this grand infinite. To bring more nurturing into our daily lives, we need to bring an awareness, a reminder, and a practice to the fact that we are part of this expression. Not separate from, but a little piece of. We have to sometimes remind ourselves that we're not alone, that we're surrounded by and within this beautiful love. So with this awareness comes this ability, this one that we need to kind of practice, is it's being present in this moment, right now. When you are having a hectic day or you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, we need to slow down and just allow ourselves to be present. We live in a world of constant moving, and now aren't we really slowed down? Is this a way or a reason why this great expression has now made us take time to slow down? Maybe we spend too much time wrapped up in the future, or for some of us, maybe in the past, where we just have to slow down, take a breath, and observe your surroundings. Just breathe and be present right to where you are. Allow yourself to just be. You know, you hear over and over again that we spend more time in our life doing instead of being. I've even heard the expression, why don't we just call ourselves human doings instead of human beings? But we really truly are human beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So let's start being instead of doing. And when we bring these tenets of spiritualism into our lives, we become our religion. That is why it states that true religion is living, not in dogma or creed, but just living a lifestyle that nourishes and develops your spiritual being. Continue on with being more nurturing vibration into our lives. Bring this idea into our lives. Stay present and work this nurturing into our lives. How? I'll give you a few ideas, and they're just a few, because maybe hopefully now you're being inspired to kind of create some of your own. But how about smiling at a stranger? Hard to do if you have to go out with the mask on, but maybe paint one on your mask. Send positive thoughts of peace and joy to the people that you have to surround yourselves with. Do you notice I say have to? Because I'm sure we all want to stay with just those that we like, right? That's the most fun time of our life, is to be around people we like. But we have to be part of this big world. Remember, every person is an expression of that divine. So let us bring them thoughts and peace. And smiles are contagious. Really, it is. I loved the fact, I'm going to digress a little bit because I saw this meme on Facebook that was how Zoom meetings end. And it was an old Laurel and Hardy cartoon, and they were trying to say goodbye, but everybody kept saying, bye, well, bye, well, bye. And it took like 3, 4, 5 minutes, you know? And I think, but that's how it is. That love, those smiles, that expression of joy and peace is contagious. So when we make it a daily habit of wishing peace and joy to all of those expressions of infinite intelligence, we now also smile at ourselves. Spiritualism and even our mothers have taught us that sending out the vibration of love, peace, and harmony to everyone should be done in our daily doings. I can remember my mother telling me, well, the boy just pulled your hair because he likes you. You know, be nice to everybody. Oh, you know, grumpy neighbor Fred, he's just grumpy and needs love. Always our parents, our mothers telling us to go out. Let's face it, we need to work on being the above statement, and we have to live this experience by also being the person, being the spiritual being that we are and we carry inside. The next most important thing to do, and I don't care what age you are, 8, 88, 100, we need to make time to play in our lives. Do we play enough? Ask yourself, do you do things that bring you joy? What did you do as a child that brought you fun and play? Maybe it was a game of sorry. When's the last time you played that? Maybe it was riding a bike, skipping, singing, coloring. We need to rediscover that child within, that play within. It helps reduce stress, and it brings more joy and meaning into our lives. It makes us feel younger and more vibrant, no matter how old we are. I know age is nothing but a number. In spirit, everything does not exist on linear time. However, in this human experience, we do like to play with time. So rewind the time, go back to the child within, play, join a comedy group, learn to play an instrument, read the comics every day instead of the news, learn a new hobby. Just bring play into your life. And it's been scientifically proven that when we do this, we help shape our brain, keep it sharp, open our imagination, and we invigorate the soul. Remember when your mom hung your artwork or test on the refrigerator if you were lucky enough? Or when she would take you to church and she would brag to all of her friends and anyone who would listen how wonderful you were and all the accomplishments that you made? Well, bringing nurturing, loving compassion to oneself is also a habit we need to do. We tend to shy away from our accomplishments, not make them a big deal. But we really need to bring that back to self. It's not being selfish to celebrate some of the things that you have accomplished. Sometimes it's easy to forget how far we have come in our lives. So make a list of your accomplishments. You don't need to do it on Facebook. You can do it anywhere. Keep a journal. You can start a file. Take notes and comments that you receive from other people that you have completed for yourself, and use them as an uplifting reference on days that you seem not to be able to get to that vibration of love, nurturing, and compassion. You know, how many times do we get offered a compliment or sometimes it's an award and we feel that we're not worthy enough? Start hanging that stuff on your refrigerator. Celebrate you like your mother celebrated you. We have to stop letting everything kind of just be under the table. Instead, we need to put it out there, celebrate it, and it makes us feel good too. You know, there's a quote from Steve Marble that I also hang on my refrigerator, and it says, allow yourself to enjoy each happy moment in your life. And sometimes I wonder if we forget to do that. You know, I don't know for you, I can't be the answer for you, but ask yourself, Do you allow yourself to celebrate each happy moment? The other thing that you can do, because spiritualism talks about not, principle number 6 talks about this do unto others. And as spiritual beings on a human experience, we want to share. We want to be of service. We want to include everyone. So how about sending thank you cards or compliments or thank you emails to those that touch our lives in every different way and every different day? Again, reminding us to do unto others, right? That's part of our growth and our existence. But let's share that. Have you written a thank you note for your postman who brings you your mail every day, or a postwoman? Have you, I thanked my grocery people and I thank restaurants for opening back up because I hate cooking. So I thank everybody who will cook for me and my family and keep me fed. Being from Wisconsin, of course, but I heard California does have happier cows now than Wisconsin. But being from Wisconsin, we're surrounded by farmers. Go on Facebook or go on to a farming website and just thank them for producing your food. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in our now that we forget about everything around us, all having this huge effect. We make our own happiness or unhappiness. We create or co-create with our creator. How powerful are these words? And I think sometimes we need to remember that. Do you know your mother's mother or your mothers or your friends that you consider mothers, however that mother vibration rings true to you, they're always telling us to do our best. We're good enough. You can do anything. You can be anything if you put your mind to it. So how do we do that? How do we make or create our own happiness? Have you made a list of short and long-term goals? We have this accountability, this personal responsibility to ourselves. And sometimes making lists are a good way to create our overall happiness, because it gives us a general sense of purpose and an excitement about the future, because we should be excited and always have hope. But make a list of 5 short-term or long-term little goals and set them for yourself. What are the most important things for you to do today, this week, this month? What about in the next 5 years, 10 years? Write down your ideas. Sometimes it could just be easy as getting out of bed. And start taking steps to achieve these goals, because when we do put it into action and we start to see the progress, our goals are very invigorating. We get excited. A quote from Brian Glasgow: if we nurture our mind, body, and spirit, your time will expand. You will gain a new perspective that will allow you to accomplish much, much more. Let us learn to be more compassionate, nurturing to ourselves and for others. Though we are spiritual beings having a human experience, we know through communication that we are forever spiritual beings. And we also know that we have to brace this human experience, for it is only temporary. So we must learn to be in balance with both being and doing, the physical and the spiritual, the individuality and the oneness. For it is in this balance that we find the even mind. Be compassionate with yourself. Have compassion for your humanity and your flaws. You are human now, and you're going to make mistakes. Look at yourself through the eyes of a loving mother or parent or friend. Don't punish or criticize yourself. Reassure yourself, comfort yourself, accept yourself unconditionally, and show that same compassion for your own parents, others around you, for they too are having a human experience. Even in spirit, we learn and grow. We know that spirit continues to evolve. So if we know this, why wait until we are spirit to show compassion to ourselves and others? Why not start today? Watch what you say and try to speak kindness. Though sometimes it's easy to complain and focus on all the stuff you have to do, focus on the compassion and empathy. Watch our words, watch our thoughts. They are both powerful tools which can empower us or harm us. It's like your mom always says, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. What motherly wisdom. Words can lift someone up in a moment, and they can have a long positive effect. Your kindness begets kindness. When you find compassion for another person and articulate it through words or through writing, it passes it along. As our simple principle goes, do good, be kind, and others will do likewise. One of the key truths of spiritualism is to seek your own truth, find your own path. Spiritualism was and always will be one of continual learning, growing, and developing. Never to be one of dogma, creed, or narrow-mindedness. It is continually pushing oneself to reach our fullest potential. Isn't that what our mothers really wanted for us? Continue to reach for the stars. We do this always by seeking another perspective. We tend to get so caught up in something that we insist it must be done this way for it to work, or to be perfect, or to be right. But what if there is another way? We must remind ourselves daily there are many paths to the same destination. So how do we find more truth, perspective, love, compassion, empathy in our life? We be a good listener. Show up, listen. You know, there's a difference between hearing and listening. Are you hearing me now, or are you really listening? And it's okay, really, if you're just hearing me, but we need to learn the tool of listening. Listening means that we take an interest in what the person is saying to us. Mothers have the way of weeding that out. But you know, did they really? Because I'll tell you, I think my mother heard some things I never wanted to hear. Offer feedback through the conversation. Take heart into what the person is telling you. So the next time you have a conversation, listen, not to respond with an answer, but to truly listen, hear, and acknowledge the perspective of what is being told. In conclusion, I ask you to think about incorporating some of these tips into your life. If you find yourself already doing some of these things, fantastic, do more. I think the best way we honor our mothers and mother energy today and every day is to be the person that our mothers wanted us to be, bringing the vibration of love, nurturing, and compassion into our daily lives. Thank you.